I love the fact that we have access to the internet and social media, and we have all these amazing platforms which we can use for the sake of the gospel to be able to get teaching out into the world, to be able to share to everyone about Jesus. But there's also a concern that I have. You see, with the accessibility to all these platforms and social media, it's quite easy for people to rise into the ranks and to get into our For You pages that aren't necessarily teaching sound doctrine. They might just be teaching what we want to hear, what we like to hear, but not necessarily teaching or preaching the truth. And see, Scripture actually warns us about this. Let me read this for us. This is in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. Paul writes, "For the time will come when people will not tolerate sound doctrine, but according to their own desires will multiply teachers for themselves because they have an itch to hear what they want to hear." Unfortunately, we all have an itch and a bent towards wanting to hear the things that will affirm or confirm some of the core beliefs that we have about ourselves, whether or not those things are true to Scripture. We have itchy ears. And wherever there are itchy ears, there is a preacher, there is a teacher, there is an influencer that is willing to scratch that itch. Let me just warn you guys, okay, to be extremely careful. I love social media. I love the accessibility that we have to communicate, to socialize, to build meaningful online friendships, and to be able, first and foremost, to declare the gospel truth. But not everyone that is utilizing these platforms are doing so with your best interest in mind. In fact, many are deceived, and many are utilizing these platforms in order to disseminate false information. And so one of the ways that we could combat that is that as we consume content online is to make sure that we are doing so with a Bible in our hand, to make sure that we know God's truth, that we have centered our lives on the truth of the gospel. And so we'll be able to identify when these false messages and these false messengers present themselves. Let me encourage you to be a good student of the Scriptures, to genuinely pursue Jesus in all that you do so that you can identify and don't just simply follow and click on the people that affirm the things that you want to hear, the people that affirm your sin, affirm your false ideologies and thinkings. Let us go to the truth of the Scriptures and let us utilize our platforms for the sake of the gospel to let people know about a God that loves them.